The Trent-Severn waterway is a marvel of Canadian engineering, with its inception dating back to 1883. The system of locks has expanded exponentially since those early days and now connects Lake Ontario at Trenton to Lake Huron at Port Severn. It is here, near the lock system terminus of Port Severn, that an outdated set of bridges on Highway 400 needed to be replaced. Highway 400 is a major gateway to Northern Ontario and as such cannot afford to be closed for long. To minimize interruptions on the highway and the waterway below it, new bridges have already been constructed beside the existing outdated ones. But now, those old bridges need to be removed. That's when the call was put into Priestley Demolition, the bridge removal experts.
Doing bridges like this is it's different with the archway and everything. It's all concrete. There's a process to it. Protection for this water is like number one, right? So it's not just go in and hammer down, right?
All work must be completed over the winter months of 2017, while the lock system is shut down for the season and before fish spawning season begins in the spring. Priestley has come up with a plan to get these bridges out and preserve the integrity of the important waterway down below. During the first phase of their plan, PDI installs a barge underneath the bridge that will perform the dual function of providing a lower working platform while catching any debris that might otherwise find its way into the water.
Safety is number one. Working on those barges, we always got to be barrier, guardrail around it, life vest when we're on there. We got emergency boats, right? If somebody falls into the water, there's a procedure all for that. So yeah, safety number one, especially with the current that this waterway has, right?
In addition to the barge itself, a special catch-all material curtain is installed next to the barge as an extra precaution. With their safety measures in place, it's time for Priestley Demolition to go to work. PDI will remove the bridges in two phases, first tackling the larger northbound span. They start by bringing in backfill to fill the ends of the bridge for access purposes. Next, the crew begins to remove the portions of the barrier and bridge decking located above the river.
There's 3 beams running right across this bridge. They look like a little rainbow, and they're the main grade beams. And what we have to do is break around those beams without damaging the beams at all. Once we come to the end of the moon portion of that beam, we've got to leave certain structures as we go back. So once we come off that main girder, we're breaking certain sections of the deck, and we'll do it after.
The crew completes the precarious river span of the bridge as real Canadian winter weather finally moves in. Next, they attack the end sections over land and do one final snow-covered cleanup before they can bring the concrete arch frame of the bridge to heel.
Decking went very well. Once we got started and got the machines far enough apart where we both could go, it went great. We're starting to clean up. We've got the first crosses out, just about got the first arch ready to break. We've cleaned it off for the weekend here now, so we're good to go come Monday.
The crew continues to chip away at the remaining concrete on the first arch, revealing the steel core within. The extra concrete is cleared away to ensure that the barge doesn't take on too much weight when they drop the girder frame arch. And finally, the moment of truth.
We can move up a little bit from that cut. She's already coming down.
The first arch comes crashing down, and the barge has no problem handling it.
All went as expected. We've brought the first truss down just as we planned. We're cleaning it up now and bringing her off the barge. Once we get that cleaned up, we start on the next one, and everything should go good from here.
The team quickly moves on to the remaining 2 arches.
That concrete and those I-beams had no rebar in them.
Yeah, I think where it's steel, you can take that concrete off. You do the inside bottom corner on the one, then the inside bottom corner on the other. So if anything, it's going to roll into itself. This first one, we kind of had these other 2 arches to rely on. So essentially, the idea is the same. We're going to reduce as much as the weight as you can, but you want to keep all the members between the arches together as much as possible so you don't let it twist.
After completion of the first bridge removal, the barge is prepped and floated over to the smaller southbound bridge. This bridge is less complex than the first, but that doesn't mean Priestley will be any less careful.
Yeah, the plates are the protection for the barge. What we'll do is they'll put the barge into place. We'll lay filter cloth. Now, to join the gap on the outside where the barge doesn't meet, we just overlap the plate. So it's 4 or 5 feet overlap.
Once the barge is in place, Priestley gets to work. This smaller bridge is a more traditional type of demolition. A machine breaks the barrier walls up top in preparation of an excavator attacking from below on the barge. The second bridge is removed without a hitch and ahead of schedule. The crew spends the next few days cleaning up the site and removing the barge from the canal.
Moves smoother on this side. Things just sometimes come together better. We weren't dealing with the ice, weren't dealing with the snow as badly. No slipping and sliding around. A little smaller bridge, by the way, but a little closer. The procedure was written perfect and everything came together just like it's supposed to. Crew was great, good help, makes all the difference in the world. The right people and just kept concrete out of the water, neat and tidy. Couldn't have went better.
The highway is fully operational. The Trent-Severn waterway will open on schedule and the river is clear in plenty of time for fish spawning. This environment has been left in the same condition as when Priestley Demolition arrived. Ahead of schedule and on budget, the Port Severn Bridge's removal is nothing less than an unqualified success.